It is no surprise that there is so much mystery and secrecy surrounding the occult. After all, the word means to hide, conceal, and secret. But over time, there are certain symbols linked to the occult that have become less and less of a secret. And in this episode of FTD Facts, I'm exploring 10 surprising occult symbols that exist. Hey guys, welcome back to FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and every culture that you can think of has some sort of occult practice, symbol, or belief. And now this episode won't be an exhaustive look at these symbols, but it'll definitely shed a lot of light on them. But before we continue, leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring that bell if this is your first time here to FTD Facts. That way you'll be notified of future episodes like this. All right, so let's jump right into this episode. Starting at number 10, we have Baphomet. Now, the image of Baphomet was originally created back in 1854 by the occultist Eliphaz Levi for his book Dogmas and Rituals of High Magic. But even before this depiction, Baphomet was a deity that the Knights Templar were accused of worshipping, and then it was incorporated into the occult and mystical traditions. Now, the name Baphomet appeared in the trial transcripts for the Inquisition of the Knights Templar starting back as early as 1307, and the symbol reflects a number of principles that are considered to be fundamental to occultists, and it was influenced by Kabbalah, Hermeticism, alchemy, as well as other beliefs. Now, Baphomet as a goat face in an inverted pentagram is also a very popular occult symbol. Number 9, we have the Tetragrammaton. Now, you wouldn't really think that this next one would have anything to do with the occult, but it actually does. So God is called by many names in Hebrew, and the word tetragrammaton is a Greek word that means word of 4 letters, and it was one of the names that the Jews would write down, but they would not pronounce it. It was considered to be too holy to be said by anyone. Now, early Christian transliterators, they pronounced this name Jehovah from the 17th century and beyond, and by the time we got to the 19th century, the word was retransliterated into the word Yahweh. So the letters that make up the Tetragrammaton are Yod, He, Vah, and He. Now in English, they're commonly written as YHWH or JHVH. It's because the J and the Y, as well as the V and the W, can be translated into the same pronunciation. Now, occultists based in Judeo-Christian mythology consider the Hebrew names of God such as Adonai and Elohim to hold a lot of power in them, but none of them hold as much power as the Tetragrammaton. And in the occult, God is most commonly represented by the Tetragrammaton. And even occultists believe that, yeah, you do not say this word. There's so much power in it, and people don't even understand the power that is in that word. Even Aleister Crowley was like, yeah, this word is very powerful. But now, moving on to number 8, we have the Rosy Cross. The Rosy Cross is often associated with a number of different schools of thought, including the Golden Dawn, the Thelema, the OTO, as well as the Rosicrucians, also known as the Order of the Rose Cross. Now, each of these groups have a different type of interpretation of the symbol, and they use it in different ways, but this shouldn't be a surprise because magic, as well as occult and esoteric symbols, are often used to communicate different ideas that you can't really express just in speech. There's often a whole world when it comes to symbols. So every single group, of course, is going to have a different perspective. Now, a pentagram is displayed at the end of each arm of the cross, and now each of these pentagrams bears a symbol of 5 elements. There's a wheel for spirit, there's a bird's head that symbolizes air, the zodiac sign for Leo, which is a fire sign, and the zodiac symbol for Taurus, which is an earth sign, and then there's a zodiac symbol for Aquarius, which is a water sign. This next one probably doesn't come as a surprise to many of you, but the pyramid is here. Now, the pyramid is a key symbol in Freemasonry and reported to be a symbol used by the Illuminati. And this is especially when it's depicted with a separated capstone. So in certain occult circles, the all-seeing eye is thought to refer to a great divide among the people. Now, each level or step of the pyramid represents a socioeconomic class, and the capstone with the eye eye represents the most elite and their elevated status among the rest of humankind. The Tree of Life is also a very popular occult symbol. It's also called Etz Chaim in Hebrew, and it's a common visual depiction of the 10 Sephirot of Kabbalah. Each Sephirot represents an attribute of God through which he manifests his eternal will. Now, the Tree of Life doesn't represent a single sort of system or anything like that, but it can be applied to the formation and existence of both physical as well as metaphysical worlds, as well as to one's own soul and state of being or understanding. On top of that, different schools of thoughts like Kabbalistic Judaism as well as modern Western occultism also offer different interpretations of the symbol. Halfway in at number 5, we have this one here, the evil eye. The evil eye is a curse that is believed to be cast when you give an evil glare, and it's usually given to a person when they are completely unaware that it's happening. Now, many cultures believe that receiving an evil eye will cause misfortune or some sort of injury, so be careful out there, guys. The evil eye is often sold as jewelry, decoration, among other things, and it was said to be created to protect people against the evil eye or evil spirits. Number 4 brings us the hieroglyphic monad. Now, this is a symbol that was created by John Dee and described in Monas Hieroglyphica, or the hieroglyphic monad, back in the year 1564. Now, this symbol is intended to represent the reality of the monad, which is a singular entity from which all material things are said to come from. Now, the symbol is constructed from 4 distinct symbols. There's the astrological signs for the moon and the sun, as well as the cross, and the zodiac sign of Aries, the ram, represented by 2 semicircles at the bottom of the glyph. The symbol at number 3 is the seal of the truth of God. The sigillum de emeth, or the seal of the truth of God, is most widely known through writings and artifacts from John Dee, who was a 16th century occultist as well as an astrologer in the court of Elizabeth I. Now, while the symbol does appear in older texts, Dee was actually not happy with them, and so it's believed that he gained guidance from an angel to construct his own version of the symbol. And now, Dee's system of angelic magic, known as Enochian, is heavily rooted in the number 7, and it's a number which is strongly connected to the 7 traditional planets of astrology. So with this, the Siligum de Ameth is primarily constructed of heptagrams, which are 7-pointed stars, and heptagons, which are 7-sided polygons. Now let's take a look at the created universe symbol. Occultists of the Renaissance period, they offer contradictory views of the created universe, and there was a sort of common sense struggle between spirit and matter, where material things are imperfect and contrary to spiritual things, as per modern Christian teachings. And now the illustrator and occultist Robert Flood often promoted this view as well, and because Christianity envisions God as a tripartite being, we have the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, all united within a single Godhead, the triangle is commonly used as a symbol for God. Now, the upper triangle of this whole symbol here, with a tetragrammaton in the middle of it, symbolizes the totality of God. And in the lower triangle, we see 3 circles in it, now with the center being a solid mass. And then the solid mass is actually physical reality, and the circles represent the 3 realms. There's physical, celestial, and angelical. And finally, the occult symbol at number 1 is the lightning bolt. Yeah, this one was very surprising to me. So satanic worshippers identify this as 777, and this was made popular by Aleister Crowley, who wrote the Guide to Witchcraft and Satanic Worship. It's said that Aleister Crowley hated God so much that he named himself 777. Why? Because 666 was already taken. Now, Aleister Crowley's instructions to his followers was that they should learn to speak as well as write and walk backwards so that they can open themselves up to hear the demonic world speak to them. You'll also notice this lightning bolt symbol in the form of the letter S as well. And this is simply because when Lucifer was kicked out of heaven, he fell out of heaven like lightning. And this is according to Jesus in the New Testament of the Bible. And in satanic circles, the symbol represents the destroyer. Number 10 leads us to the Illuminati. The Illuminati is a secret society that has become the subject of numerous conspiracy theories. The origins of the Illuminati can be traced back to the late 1700s in Bavaria in Germany, where the society was founded by Adam Weishaupt, who was a professor of law. Now, the Illuminati was originally a group of intellectuals who sought to promote Enlightenment ideals and oppose religious influence over public life. However, due to their secretive nature and supposed involvement in political and social upheavals throughout history, the Illuminati has become shrouded in mystery, and there's a whole lot of suspicion going on here, in the minds of people. But many people believe that the Illuminati is still active today and controlling world events from behind the scenes. Coming in at the number 9 spot, we have the Freemasons. The Freemasons is a fraternal organization that traces its origins back to the early 17th century in England. The organization's membership is made up of men who share a belief in the brotherhood of mankind, the fatherhood of God, as well as the immortality of the soul. Freemasons have a very complex system of hierarchy and rituals that have been shrouded in a whole lot of secrecy, leading to multiple conspiracy theories about their true intentions. However, the organization has repeatedly stated that their goals are purely philanthropic and charitable, and their members are encouraged to lead exemplary lives and give back to their communities as much as possible. From there, we look at the Bilderberg Group at number 8. The Bilderberg Group is an annual private conference attended by approximately 130 participants from North America and Europe, including political leaders and business executives and experts in various different fields. The first Bilderberg meeting was held in the Netherlands back in the year 1954, and since then, the conference has been held in various locations around the world. The group stated that their goal is to promote dialogue and understanding between Europe and North America. But many people believe that the Bilderberg Group is a shadowy organization that is manipulating global events for their own benefit. But others see it just as a harmless meeting of influential people discussing good things that they want to do in the world. Number 7 leads us to Skull and Bones. The Order of the Skull and Bones is a secret society that's based at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. The society was founded in 1832 and is one of the oldest and most exclusive collegiate secret societies in the United States. Members of the society who are selected from the senior class at Yale are sworn to secrecy about the group's activities. And the society's symbol, which is a skull and crossbones, is often associated with piracy and death. So this, of course, further fuels the rumors about the group's alleged ties to the occult. Several prominent political figures, businessmen, including several US presidents and a lot of celebrities, have been reported to be members of this society. From there, let's take a look at the Knights Templar. Now, this was a Christian military order that was founded in the 12th century during the time of the Crusades. The order was initially established to protect pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land, but it quickly grew in power and wealth, and it became one of the most influential organizations of the Middle Ages. The Knights Templar, they were renowned for their bravery in battle and their strict code of conduct, which included vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. However, their immense wealth and influence eventually led to their downfall, and in the early 14th century, the order was disbanded by the Pope, with many of the members being arrested and some even executed. The Knights Templar have since become the subject of numerous legends and conspiracy theories, with some people claiming that the order possessed secret knowledge or artifacts such as the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant, and that they continue to exist secretly to this day. Coming in at the number 5 spot, let's take a look at the Trilateral Commission. This is a non-governmental organization that was founded in 1973 by prominent political and business leaders from North America, Europe, and Japan. The organization stated that its goal is to promote cooperation and understanding between these 3 regions and to address global issues such as economic development and security. The Trilateral Commission is composed of members who are selected based on their leadership positions and expertise in various fields. And the Trilateral Commission has been the subject of conspiracy theories, of course, with some claiming that the organization is a very secretive organization. It kind of operates in the shadows and it seeks to create a one world government. These theories are largely unsupported by evidence, and the Trilateral Commission continues to operate as a forum for dialogue and cooperation between North America, Europe, and Japan. Opus Dei comes next at number 4. This is a Catholic lay organization that was founded in 1928 by Spanish priest Jose Maria Escriva. And this organization's stated goal is to promote holiness and sanctification in everyday life. And its members are encouraged to integrate their faith into their work and personal lives. Opus Dei is known for its emphasis on personal spirituality, discipline, as well as self-sacrifice, and its members are expected to adhere to strict moral codes. The organization has been accused of being secretive and elitist, and people say that it seeks to exert undue influence in the Catholic Church and beyond. However, Opus Dei, they say that, well, what they're really trying to do is just to seek to promote spiritual growth and contribute to the betterment of society. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have the Rosicrucians. The Rosicrucians is a mystical and philosophical movement that traces its roots back to the early 17th century in Europe. The group is named after the legendary figure Christian Rosenkreuz, who is said to have possessed secret knowledge and powers. The Rosicrucians believe in the existence of a hidden spiritual reality that can be accessed through various practices, including meditation, alchemy, and other rituals. They are also known for their use of symbolism such as the rose and cross, as well as their belief in the interconnectedness of all things. The Rosicrucians have been associated with various other esoteric and mystical movements throughout history, and their ideas have actually influenced many thinkers and artists over the years. Coming down to the number 2 spot in this episode, let's take a look at the Hermetic Order. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was a magical order that was founded in the late 19th century in Great Britain. The group was inspired by various occult traditions, including Kabbalah, Hermeticism, and ceremonial magic, and its members sought to explore the hidden realms of the human psyche and the universe. This group's teachings focused on spiritual development and attainment of higher levels of consciousness, and its members engage in various practices such as meditation, divination, and ritual magic. The group's influence on the occult and spiritual movements of the 20th century has been very significant, with many of its ideas and practices still being studied and practiced by occultists and magicians today. Ending off this episode at number 1, we have the Thule Society. Now, the Thule Society was a German occult group that was founded in Munich in 1918, and the society was named after the legendary island of Thule, which was said to be the center of a highly advanced civilization. The Thule Society was focused on promoting a nationalist and anti-Semitic ideology that sought to establish a pure Aryan race, and the group was influential in the early years of the Nazi Party. Also, the Thule Society was associated with the occult and mystical beliefs, including the idea of a secret society that possessed ancient wisdom and supernatural powers. Here at number 10, we have Ordo Templi Orientis. Order Templi Orientis, or the Order of the Temple of the East, is a mystic organization that was started in the early 20th century. Now, the group supposedly relies on ritual and occult practices as a means for members to advance within the organization. The general philosophy was a New Age esoteric principle and practices as a method of realizing one's true identity. Now, the popular occultist Aleister Crowley produced a lot of the group's material, and one of the major features and core teachings of the organization is the practice of sex magic. Ordo Templi Orientis still exists today with various chapters scattered around the world. mainly in the United States and also in the UK and different parts of Europe. The Bilderberg Group comes in at number 9, so of course we've heard of them before. Now, it's not just a secret society per se, but it does operate under a similar type of mystery as some of these secret societies. So it's become the subject of many conspiracy theories over the years. Now, the group was started back in the year 1954, and since then it has convened every single year as an invitation-only conference of various world leaders, as well as leaders in industries, as well as many people who are prominent in the media industry. The group was originally created to prevent anything that would cause another world war to ever happen again, and if it was to happen, they want to subside the effects of it. This happened after World War II. But as time went on, the group became a lot more about how to reach mutual understanding between cultures. The Bilderberg Group attracts a lot of controversy because there's no press allowed in their conferences, as well as a lot of the details about the topics that they discuss aren't officially released to the public, as well as there's a lot of security at their meetings. So it has people going like, what's actually going on inside of there? The American Mafia comes in at number 8, and I know this one doesn't necessarily sound like a secret society, but it actually is. They're a highly organized Italian-American criminal organization. Now, the Mafia's crimes, secret rituals, and notorious members like Al Capone and John Gotti have fascinated the public and become a huge part of pop culture. During the latter part of the 20th century, the government actually used anti-racketeering laws to convict high-ranking mobsters, as well as weaken the impact of the mafia. However, it remains a massive business to this day. Becoming an official member of the mafia traditionally involves an initiation ceremony where people have to perform rituals like pricking their fingers until it bleeds, as well as holding a burning picture of a saint while taking the oath of loyalty. Italian heritage was also a prerequisite for people to join, although certain families in the mafia require you to just have Italian lineage on your father's side. And also, men often, although not always, need to take someone else's life before they can even join the mafia. Now, becoming a member of the mafia was meant to be a lifetime commitment, and every single member had to swear to obey the code of loyalty and silence, and they're expected to never assault any other member of the mafia, as well as you can't cheat with another member's girlfriend or wife. Number 7 is the Black Hand. Now, we've heard of this in pop culture as well, but the Black Hand was a secret society that was started in Serbia back in the year 1912. It formed as an offshoot of the Narodna Odbrana, which is a group that aimed to unite all of the Slavic people of Europe into one country. Now, their plan was to incite a war between Serbia and Austria, which would give them a chance to free their country and unite the different Slavic nations as one. And the Black Hand would be all but forgotten today if it wasn't for their involvement in 1914, where the group engineered the assassination of the Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The results of this were very catastrophic. Within days, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, and after the allies of both of the countries joined the fight, the small dispute, they actually managed to escalate it into World War I. And the aftermath of World War I eventually led to World War II, then the Cold War. So of course, this makes the Black Hand one of the most influential forces of the 20th century. Moving on now to number 6, we have the Knights of the Golden Circle. Now, the Knights of the Golden Circle was a secret society that flourished in the United States during the American Civil War. In the beginning, they encouraged the annexation of Mexico and the West Indies, which they believed would help the dying slave trade to once again start flourishing. But once the Civil War started, the group switched its focus to support the newly Confederate government. And then their organization soon had thousands of followers in the northern states, and their secret society had an even bigger impact. The group started in Germany just after World War I, and it began as a kind of German heritage group that really started dabbling into the occult, but it quickly became an organization that pursued to forward the ideology of the Aryan race. And it took an outwardly racist approach towards Jews as well as other minorities. Now, the group had thousands of members and even had its own propaganda newspaper. So check this, back in the year 1919, members of the Thule Society formed a political organization called the German Workers' Party, and the young Adolf Hitler became a member, and he eventually took over that party, and it became known as the Nazi Party. And we all know what happened after that. Next up at number 4, we have the infamous Sons of Liberty. So the Sons of Liberty is the name of a group that existed in America prior to the Revolutionary War. Now, the group did not exist as a secret society in the traditional sense. However, it was made up of a smaller number of patriots from various colonies that united in the support of a common goal. Now, when this group had met, it was usually in Boston around an elm tree that has since become known as the Liberty Tree. Now, the group is known today for sparking up revolution among the colonists with protests of the Stamp Act. And by the way, the Stamp Act of 1965 was the first internal tax that was levied directly on American colonists by the British Parliament. Now, the Sons of Liberty in Boston were the most famous arm of the entire group. Probably the most famous event that they engineered was the Boston Tea Party in the year 1773, when the group dressed up as natives and they dumped shiploads of overtaxed tea into the Boston Harbor. The secret society at number 3 is Skull and Bones. Ivy League colleges are known for their many secret societies and student organizations and fraternities, and of course there's Yale's Skull and Bones. They're probably the most well known. Now, the only real prerequisite for membership is that those who are initiated are to be campus leaders. So athletes and members of student councils as well as fraternity presidents are usually considered. Apparently, the United States presidents, as well as senators and Supreme Court justices, have been members of Skull and Bones. So not all of them, just like a lot of them have been. The club also is very well funded because an organization called the Russell Trust Association actually funds it. Now, the Skull and Bones membership is no longer kept secret, but their practices still are. They meet twice a week, but what happens in the meetings are complete secret. The group is known for allegedly forcing new members to share their intimate stories. They also assign nicknames to every single member. We're getting to the bottom of this list, and next up at number 2, we have the Freemasons. Now, although they're less influential and secretive today as they once were, the Freemasons remain one of the most famous organizations in the entire world, with memberships estimated to be around 5 million globally. Now, the group was officially founded in the year 1717, but documents relating to their existence date back to even as early as 1300s. They were originally created to be a brotherhood where their members would share certain philosophic ideas as well as share their beliefs about a supreme being. The Freemasons strongly promote moral living, and many of the chapters are heavily involved in charity work as well as community work. Now, conspiracy theorists have brought to light that they supposedly are involved in evil occult practices. Churches of all denominations have also criticized the organization, as the Freemasons' teachings on spirituality and their beliefs are said to be an attempt to replace traditional religion. One practice, though, that they still hold to this day is how they induct new members. If you're initiated into the Freemasons, you have to be recommended to the group by someone who's already a Mason. And once that member is in, they need to pass 3 different degrees before reaching the level of Master Mason. And now members also have certain handshakes and gestures and passwords that they use to communicate between each other, and also non-Masons are not allowed to attend their meetings. And finally, we've reached to number 1. You guys probably guessed this already. Number 1 is the Illuminati. Now, this organization has become the most famous secret society, mainly because of their frequent mentions and appearances in books, movies, and in TV. And now the legend surrounding the Illuminati dates back to a real organization that existed in Germany in the late 1700s. At the time, the members of the group presented themselves as an order of enlightened free thinkers. They quickly began to be viewed as a threat to overthrow the government, and they were even said to be behind the French Revolution. Now, the group broke up shortly afterwards, and they've been rumored to still be operating somewhere but in the shadows. Thanks to appearing in pop culture so much, the Illuminati has continued to be a topic of fear for many people to this day. It's believed that the group has survived and now directs the politics and industry of the world to a large extent.